Hey, this is Delirium Skid, and this is my rally experience diary. I've had my 1200 GS about 3 months and had seen on Meetup a 49er rally that wasn't too far from home, actually up in Mariposa. And it was being held by the Northern California BMW Riders Group, the 49ers, which when I did the reviews on the internet turned out to be a very well-reviewed group of people. So I checked out their lineup online, and they had an off-road riding skills clinic. They were going to have Ted Simons speaking. So all in all, it sounded like something I really wanted to go to, plus an opportunity to get to meet some of the other riders in my state and in my community that were interested in off-roading and to hear about their adventures and different rides they had taken. So very excited about going. In fact, so excited. It was actually like I was a kid again. I have some cats, so I had to make sure the cats were going to be well taken care of while I was gone. I actually have horses, so I had to make sure that the horses were going to be, have a caretaker, and that I wasn't going to have any particular colic events like I had had on previous trips with my horses. And to make sure that my father was taken care of properly, because I've got an elder father, to make sure that the dog was going to be fine, because dogs require a lot of care. And before this event, I had actually rescued some baby ducks. So I needed to make sure that my husband was going to have, the special food that they needed, and that it was arranged in such a way that, all he had to do was open up a plastic bag, pour it in the cage, and make sure they had water. So there was quite a few responsibilities on my plate before the event that I needed to make sure that we're going to be cleared, especially work. I needed to make sure that the work scenario was organized. Because when you leave for 4 days, you need to make sure that that work is fine. So everything's organized. It's kind of feeling like my birthday. And, quite frankly, like I've won the lottery. Because anytime you get to go away for several days, not have any worries, it's like you've been given a gift. All you need to do is focus on enjoying the experience, meeting new people, and really submersing yourself in the environment and in the time. It's like everything outside of it stops because everything's taken care of, and you can just focus on what the task at hand, and that's really part of the enjoyment for me for riding motorcycles. A few weeks prior to the rally, me and my husband had done a off-road skills training clinic with Black Swan Moto down in Maricopa, California, at a location called Song Dog Ranch. Very nice facility, excellent facility, water, shower, electricity, lovely trails to ride, excellent views. And the Black Swan Motos owned and operated by Mark Stickmeyer, who used to work for Rawhide for several years. And the off-road skills training was phenomenal. Excellent teaching by a gentleman named Jeff and Dale, and supported well by Luana, Mark's wife, who is also an exceptional writer in her own right. So if you ever get an opportunity to take one of their clinics, I highly recommend it. So prior to going to the rally, I had already had some off-road riding experience, had ridden my bike for quite a long distance from Santa Cruz to Maricopa. I think it was like 300 some miles. And so I felt really good about going to Mariposa. It was only a couple hours from my house. All my gear had been checked out. So I was really, really excited about heading down there. The drive from Santa Cruz to Mariposa is a great drive. No issues there. The only issue I had, or learning curve I have, is riding in stiff and gusty wind. And the wind was pretty bad from Hollister all the way to the other side of the San Luis Obispo Reservoir. And I mean, this isn't just your gentle wind. I mean, there was wind gust signs up, and there was a concern for me because the wind gusts so hard that you're just afraid at any moment it's just going to push you over, and all your gear and everything is going to be strewn all over the roadway, and then a semi is going to come by and fall on you. And you never know if a tree is going to hit you or what's going to roll out in front of you when the wind is at that level of intensity. Needless to say, I survived it and made it to the site. So I make it to the site. Lovely site. It was held at the Mariposa Fairgrounds. The site has all the amenities, showers, electricity, water. They had vendors on site selling motorcycle goods, seats, and panniers. There were food vendors there. And I arrived Thursday in the afternoon, and there were quite a few people there. And I was excited. There were a lot of different bikes, and this was kind of my first rally experience, and I was solo, and I had just completed just a really great ride up there. So I get my tent and everything set up, and kind of, walk around, meet some of the people that are there at the site. And I have to say, the group that I was camped next to was just a really great group of guys. Their stories were really interesting, and they just make you feel at home. So I think the people that attend, especially the 49er rallies, are just a really good, grounded group of people. So the next morning, get up and head, one of the whole reasons I went to this rally was for the off-road riding skills clinic, which was hosted by a gentleman named Lance, who's standing there in the middle, who still works or did work for Rawhide, like Mark. And when I talked to Lance at the event, he said when he had worked at Rawhide, Mark had actually started his introduction to the off-road skills clinic training that they did there at Rawhide, which I thought was really cool. And the training that they had set up Friday morning was really good. They start you off, doing your slow work. Then after we did the slow work, we worked at, doing tight weaving through cones. They had some, that's Lance there on the right. They had some little whoops set up so you could go over the whoops course. We did, on the track, we did some circles, doing sliding skids, front stopping, just kind of getting comfortable with the bike at different speeds and using different technical applications of the clutch brake, front brake and rear brake, and then just, getting your weight leaned over. And you can kind of see the whoops there on the right, and this is me, not being very good at the slow work. So, and then in the afternoon, what they had us do is they had a hillside where they had set up kind of these figure eights. Again, slow work, doing these figure eights, but now working on and off camber. And I think that was kind of educational for a lot of people because, of course, people, including myself, were dropping our bikes quite a bit, getting comfortable with a kind of, off camber riding. And the hill was gravelly, which is something that, your brain is telling you your bike's going to slip, and then you feel like you're leaning it the wrong way, and you're trying to control the throttle, and 1200 cc engines are quite powerful. So the off-road riding clinic part of the day was just awesome. It was tiring, but a lot of fun. So later, after that kind of morning, early afternoon session, they had started talking about, well, we are going to be doing a 30-mile ride and off-road, which I was excited about. And that's what we were looking forward to do later in the afternoon. Now, I don't have a lot of off-road riding experience. I'm pretty much a street bike rider, have been, since I was a teenager. And off-road riding is very physical, and it's a lot more physical than riding on road. So I think looking back at the day, when they had started talking about riding off-road for 30 miles, I maybe should have raised a red flag for me. But, when you're riding and you're having fun meeting new people and you still feel pretty energetic, you're not really thinking about your own personal limitations. So that's something that maybe I should have put a little bit more focus on throughout the day. So this is just a little clip. I felt kind of proud of myself. I don't know if somebody else would have felt, but they put these little, that's just awesome. When you can control your bike kind of with your feet, get over an obstacle like that, you just feel like you kind of conquered the world. Okay, so the off-road ride was in the Merced Wild Scenic BLM area outside of Bryceburg, California. Awesome place to go. The thing is that the road that we started was this switchbacky road portion that was called Burma Grade. And I have to highlight that for me, at my level of riding, that was pretty technical. The Burma Grade actually changes elevation quite a bit. There's kind of steep drop offs. And the only way you can get to it by going over this nice wooden bridge, which was interesting. I mean, right when I hit the bridge, I should have known something was up, right? The road going up was fine initially. It traveled some steep terrain. It was pretty rutted in places, um, but some of it was quite beautiful. You know, I mean, the flowers were in bloom. It was kind of gorgeous to look at when you weren't constantly being aware of, oh, I got to look out for all the rocks. The bike was slipping and sliding around, getting used to that. There were quite a bit of exposed rocks that we had to get over. The terrain was loose to sandy soil, and the ruts were, a little intimidating. Um, Especially when you had to cross them multiple times and find good routes not to slip. And for my level of riding, it was pretty technical. Now, this is where I should have realized something was up. Now, I was getting tired, and this is kind of like a graphical image of the route. It was 30 miles, and just the beginning, just the initial blue squiggly part was, enough for me to say, wow, I really accomplished something. But there was more, and there was a lot more. So where that red dot is indicates where all hell broke loose for me. The bike went down. I'm not exactly sure what happened. The back end washed out. All I know is my face hit the windshield, and I had excruciating pain in my left hand. I can't tell you what happened. All I know is from looking at the skid mark, the back of the bike washed out to the right, fell on its side. I must have hit the throttle. The bike spun around me 360 degrees, and I broke my wrist. Now, a broken wrist isn't any fun. This is the wrist after I broke it. This is it after surgery, in which I had a metal plate put in. This is it in the cast, which I'll tell you, casts suck completely. Post cast removal, and I couldn't even move it, and now this is like a week after. Worst experience ever. But I have to say a big thank you to Lance, the guy standing on the motorcycle there, because he was able to get me out of where the accident happened. Again, there wasn't an opportunity for a helicopter to come in or a truck to come in. I was still about 30 minutes away from the main road. And this guy got me on the back of his motorcycle all the way down some pretty treacherous terrain and to the urgent care in Mariposa. So a huge thanks to him for being able to do that. Also, a big thanks to a gentleman by the name of Matt, who was able to splint my hand at the time of the accident with a mirror off of his motorcycle, in which they had wrapped like some towels so that I could actually get down to the urgent care to get treated. And also to Buddy, who was able to get my motorcycle out from the place where I had my accident and bring it back to the fairgrounds. So really well organized overall in patient and bike extraction. The other part of this, of course, is that my husband now has to come to Mariposa to come get me, bring me back so I can go to the urgent care, then take me back the following day so I can go pick up my motorcycle. So really grateful for him for sacrificing his Memorial Day weekend now because of the accident. So would I do the rally again? Of course. It was run really well. They had tons of activities planned throughout the day. The amount of motorcycles was awesome. And I just love riding my bike. And I cannot wait, once physical therapy is done, to get back out and ride my bike. Now, I admit this 6 or 7 weeks that I've been going through this has been crappy. Like, I have been taking some serious drugs. I've been doing all the naughty things that they tell you. But I want to get back on the bike and enjoy the freedom and the experience and the adventures that the motorcycle give me. And I'm hoping to look forward to go back to this event, and I highly recommend this event to anybody. Why did the accident happen? I don't know. A bad blend of many things. When I was watching Race to the Car, Simon Pavey was talking about, how 9 times out of 10, you just walk away from accidents like that. But, if you're tired or physically stressed, you may not. And I think that's exactly what happened. I was just getting too tired, and I really should have taken a break, and I didn't. So to those of you who are out there riding and want to enjoy the riding experience, I highly, keep doing it. And when things like this happen, you just got to shake it off and get back on your bike, after you get healed up, and try to be more diligent going forward. So thanks again to Buddy, to Lance, to my husband, and to Matt, and to everybody else who came through for me. It was just a really good experience, and again, just another adventure. And I hope to see you guys down the road. Thanks, and have a good ride.